welcome back to my channel. So we are going to continue on with the how to makeup series, and today we're going to be talking about highlight and contour, and I'm going to touch on a little bit why contouring and bronzing are different. So let's jump right into it. So for me, I like to start with highlight, and that's just because I don't like highlight to generally be the focus of my makeup application. So when you are highlighting, whatever you highlight is going to come forward, because generally our highlights have a little bit of a light reflection or they're a lighter tone. So it's going to cause an area to kind of have the illusion that it's coming forward, where anything that we contour tends to have like a darker tone. So it's going to create the illusion of receding. So think about when we highlight our cheeks, the area we highlight is our cheekbone. So it's going to create the illusion of it's coming forward. It has more volume, where you contour generally under your cheek, and it's going to create the illusion that it's pressing in. So to highlight, I'm going to be using the Clinique Lunar Pop Powder Highlight, like this, really pretty. Brush that you use to highlight, really personal preference. There's no set way on how to do it. I'm going to use something like this because it's got a little bit of a flexibility. It's got a good size for my cheekbone. For my face shape, I want my cheek to come forward but create more of a harmonious look to my face. So my face is slightly longer than it is wider, so I want to create the look of a little bit more width through my cheekbone. So when I use my fingers and press on my cheeks, I can feel my bone comes right through here. So I want this area to come forward. So I want this area to look like it's the highest point of my cheek. So I like to look straight ahead, but occasionally I'll turn my face. And if I turn my face, I can see right through here, the light catches on this highest point. So I'm going to place my brush and follow right where I put, or right where I felt my cheekbone. Bring it forward. And a lot of times when you turn your face forward, you won't see the highlight too much, because the highlight is really going to make itself known when the light hits it. And we don't normally walk around like this all day. So highlight right through here. And I like to take my time and really buff in a product. So I'll apply a little bit more just so you can see it better on camera. So there you go. You can kind of see that cheekbone is starting to illuminate, have the appearance that it's pushing forward. There you go. So here is a side with highlight versus side without. You can see like here, my face has a flatter look, where on this side, I've got this illusion of this area being kind of juicier and lifted and kind of more present. Other than our cheeks, where do we want to highlight? So highlight is very personal preference. No two faces are the same. So it's all about finding what you want to emphasize. So a lot of people like to highlight their nose. You can highlight the cupid's bow, the chin, this temple. So when you look straight ahead, you'll see there's like a depression right through here. It sinks. When you look at like children and stuff like that, this area tends to have more volume. And a great trick, which a lot of people don't think about, is when we get fillers, or if you choose to get filler, some people will fill through here because it creates more of a kind of voluminous, youthful look. So instead of getting filler through there, I like to kind of add a little bit of highlight. So that way when this light hits it, it's gonna make the area look just a little bit more kind of plump and youthful. And that's an easy one to tie into your cheek highlight. And since my face is longer than it is short, I tend to work more straight across. So an area that you apply something more straight, you are going to kind of create more kind of width. And if I work more at an angle, it's going to add more of a length to it. So that will become a little bit more apparent when we apply our contour. If you want to create the illusion of your brows being a little bit higher, instead of applying under, you can apply right over the arch of the eyebrow. And I almost like to apply at an angle going outwards. So it's gonna kind of create the illusion of a slightly lifted brow. So you can see there, it's just kind of giving my brow a little bit of a zhuzh. Our nose is another popular place to highlight. So with the nose, remember anything that you highlight is going to come forward. So my nose, it's straight, but the tip of my nose for me is a little too bulbous or too large. I don't want to make this area look bigger. And right here between my brows, the area is slightly sunk. So if I turn my head to the side, you can see where this is the lowest point and this kind of comes forward a little bit. So don't want to highlight this because I don't want this to look bigger. So I'm going to highlight my nose just right here because I want that area to come forward. So apply it right through here. There you go. So it's just to catch the light, and you can see already it's making that area appear like it's coming forward. Apply a little bit on the top of your lip to make the lips appear a little bit fuller, and you can apply a little bit to your chin to make the chin look like it's coming forward. So I'm gonna leave my face right here. So here is one side with highlight versus the side without. You can see this side is appearing more shapely and more lifted and more full, where this side appears more flat. Let's get into contour so we can kind of finish this. Contour is a very personal preference. Everyone's do something different. I don't mix bronzer and contour. Here is a bronzer. You can see this has a much redder, warmer undertone than my skin, where the contour I'm going to use has more of a gray undertone. So think when you're looking at my face, you can see here where it's in shadow, there's more of a gray effect, not necessarily an orangey warm effect. So if you look at these two colors, which color looks closer? For me, I think it's this color in the back, which is more of a taupey gray tone, where this color looks almost more like right here, where the light is reflecting and bouncing off my skin. So to contour, I like colors that are slightly more gray, more shadowy to create the most realistic version. So this is a mini size of a KEVYN Sculpting Duo, and this is the medium sculpting shade. So I'm gonna use a small pointed brush like this. I like something that is a little bit more pointy so it can really hug the contours of the face. This is a rephr number 18 brush. Before you place your brush, use your fingers, feel for, we know our cheekbone is here because this is where we highlighted. Here's the kind of flat side of your cheekbone where you'll feel more fat for your cheeks. But if you go under here, so you can see I can press in and I can feel where my cheekbone is. So if I press through, I can feel my cheekbone kind of goes right to here, which is kind of in line with the pupil of my eye. So where my face is longer than it is wide, if I place my contour kind of at an angle, I'm creating the illusion of a line going down, which is gonna make my face look longer. To where if I apply it straighter, I'm kind of creating a breaking point between the upper half of my face, the lower part of my face. So it's gonna create more of a harmonious look, which is gonna be more flattering towards my face shape. So if you want your face to look longer, apply your contour more at an angle. If you want it to look shorter, apply straight across. Feel for the back of your cheekbone. So it's right back here for me. Take my brush, place it here, and I'm gonna do small circles. And I like to start by blending most of the product into my hairline and then kind of at a 3/4 point of view, kind of work from there. I don't want to work completely from here because then you're not gonna really get the effect. You're just see a line, which is what you don't want. So I'm gonna kind of work between here and straight on. So by working in these small circles and turning my head, I can see where I want to stop, which is the outside of kind of like my iris, the colored part of my eye. And when I'm blending, I'm making small circles along that line and up. And just small buffing circles, and then I'll take my brush, kind of flick off any product left on, and just go over that again without adding any product and keeping that little blending motion. So now, if we'll turn to the side again, you can see where the light hits it, it's coming forward. And where I added my contour, it's pushing back. From the front, you're not gonna see a lot, which when you're walking straight ahead, you don't really want to see a line on your face. So this side, I kind of look one-dimensional. There's no high, there's no low. If I go here, you can see that high and that low. If you were going to be doing this for like pictures, then you might want to go back and add more. Like since I'm on camera, I want this to show up a little bit more. So I'm going to take more of my product and I'm going to kind of fill out where I want it and just apply it again. So working between that 3/4 and straight on to make sure I'm not pulling it in too far. And when you're working with that kind of brush, when you kind of go in and up, your brush will hug under your cheekbone. And some people benefit from kind of like sucking in their cheeks. But for me, when I do that, it sucks in more down here towards my jaw just because of the way my face is shaped. So then my contour ends up being way down here, which is odd because my cheek is not down here. So I like to use my fingers to fill the structure of my face. Because if you apply your contour too low, you can actually make the face look like it's drooping or kind of sunken. And we're doing this to add a shape to the face, not to age our face. Another common place to contour is the forehead. So when you're contouring your forehead, use your hairline, use your kind of brow, and you want to kind of keep your contour tight. So I like to find the part of my hairline that's furthest back, hug my brush in, and then work that contour forward. And just kind of, you're framing your hairline essentially. And you're using that lowest point and making an arc towards your forehead or the temple area. So you can see here where this area has a little bit more shape versus this side, which is just more kind of there and flesh tone. So I'm going to emphasize that a little bit more. Turn my head a little bit and we'll work this area in. Now, if you're not like me and you don't have a receding hairline, you're just gonna kind of hug all the way around. This is an Artis linear 3 brush. Looks like this. I like it because it's flat and it just makes it a lot easier for me to contour. I like to connect the contour to the nose. And not everyone needs to contour their nose. If you already have a very thin nose, you don't need to contour because you're just make it look even smaller. But if you want to contour the nose, use your fingers, feel the bridge of your nose where it meets the brow bone. And I like to tie my contour in here. So I'm going to take my contour powder and brush it just down and wrap it around. So I'm going to create a pretty dramatic line so that way you can see it. So there is a line on my nose and I like to kind of pull that into the brow. So you can see there, my bone structure is guiding me. And I like to just pull that in so that when it's blended, you're not going to see a harsh start and stop. It's a small blending brush. This is a BK Beauty number 202 brush. And I'm going to start back here. And I'm going to kind of, once again, press my brush in, angle upwards. That way I'm feathering the product up. And I'm just going to do a little circular motions and blend that color into my eyebrow. And if you want to, you can even blend it through your socket. This can kind of work as like when you go to do your eyeshadow as like a transitional tone. So just keep working, keep blending. Take your time, blend over. And you don't want to pull your product too far this way or this way because you're just going to make a muddy mess. So I like to work very tight, very concentrated, use very light pressure on your brush because you're just trying to diffuse it out. Because if you blend the area too much, you're going to erase your effect. There you go. So just take your time, blend over this. Contouring, if you want it done well, it's not the quickest process because you really want to blend it. So just keep taking your time, little circles. And then once I kind of have that on, I like to kind of press and gently pull. It's a very kind of tight motion. There you go. So you can kind of see there, this side of the nose has, you can definitely see where my bridge starts, where this side, my bridge kind of fades into the nostril, which is creating a slightly more pinched effect on this side. You can also take a little bit, if you want to shorten the appearance of your nose, you can take a little bit right through here. And that's just kind of cut the bottom of the nose off so it creates a little bit more of a kind of cute effect. People who like to contour across here to give the nose a little bit of a lifted effect, that can be kind of tricky to do well. So if you want to do that, kind of press the nose up and you'll kind of see right through here where the nose wants to crease. Just take a little bit through there and you can remove pretty much everything that's on your brush and just softly blend over that line. And then if you've already done your side of your nose, you can go here. And I like to take my finger, remove some of that product. That one's very odd because my nose doesn't really flatter that type of contour. But if you want to, then that's how you do it. Another place that sometimes I'll contour is I am not a fan of how far out my nostrils flare. So I want to kind of cut off the edge right here. So what I'll do is kind of hug the corner of my nose. And I'm using the fluffier brush instead of that first brush I did the side of my nose because I don't want the same level of intensity on the side of my nose that I did on the bridge of my nose. So I can kind of contour there to create a slightly smaller appearance of my nostril. And the last place you can contour is under your lip. So kind of hug under your lip and go like that. And just kind of, if you want to, you can press your lip forward. Go back and forth. There you go. So what you're doing there is you're creating the look of your lip is just so pouty. It just kind of creates the shadow under, and the lip up top is just catching the light where it comes forward. So you're creating the illusion of a high and a low, that your lips are just so full, they're getting that kind of full poutiness to it. One side of my face with contour, one side without. So you can see very flat, very one-dimensional. This side we have shape, we have high, we have low. So I'm gonna finish this side off camera real quick. Sides of my face are highlighted and contoured. So you can kind of see now, compared to when we started, our face has a lot more shape to it. So once again, you've got those highs, you've got the lows, same on both sides, and that's just gonna kind of create more of a three-dimensional effect. Now, I'm not a big fan of contour in kind of day-to-day life because when you're creating these lines, it can appear a little harsh when you're in direct sunlight, but for pictures, for a night out, it can look really, really beautiful. So hope this was helpful. Here are my tricks on how to contour and highlight for you and your face shape. So stay tuned. Next, we're gonna do blush and bronzer.